Today on CoPal.
Tell him I've spent millions trying to save the earth by limiting world population. And, well, Elon, you're not helping. You need a hobby, buddy.
I've come up with one of my great innovations. It's called Uber Parents. It's a news service that allows anyone to parent anyone else's kids for a short time and a coupon good for one SpaceX trip.
And could the Ukraine war have a similar root cause? What is it with guys in their 70s wanting to return to the paradise of their childhood?
That's the dumbest topic I've ever heard.
Hey guys, welcome to CoPal, the College of Politics and Life. I am the Chancellor. So why do 95% of diets fail? Why did Blockbuster Video fail to adapt to streaming trends? Why did the tariff rollout fail to impress the stock market?
Why did 100% of YouTube ignore your first video?
Low blow. Probably because I didn't eat my peas when I was 9 years old. My dad warned me it'd come back to haunt me.
This time I put only 3 peas on your plate, and I want to see at least one of them gone!
A key reason for all those failures? Poor planning. Specifically, confusing goal versus strategy versus execution. So let's define those. The goal, of course, is what you want to achieve. The strategy is the general approach to achieving that goal. And the execution relates to the strategy, not the goal, and is specific to the action to make that strategy a reality. Now, what would have been the ideal plan for Blockbuster Video? The goal could have been provide customers with convenient entertainment. The strategy, lead in delivery innovation, which could have turned into an execution when it had the chance to acquire the then small fry Netflix back in the year 2000. Instead, it started with a narrow, vulnerable goal: dominate physical video rentals. Its strategy, expand its physical store network. And the execution, reached 10,000 stores in North America and the UK. The result? Blockbuster corporate offices closed in 2014. And what about the Trump tariffs? All the political pundits have been asking the same question. What's the goal? Is the goal to bring back US manufacturing? Is it to force some kind of action, like getting countries to reduce fentanyl shipments to America? Or is it to generate revenue that the US can use to reduce its debt and offset tax cuts? But a better question might be, what's really going on here? What's really going on in Trump's head and heart? Why such a deep and stubborn love for tariffs? This is emotional for Trump. He often says, we've been ripped off, right, by other countries for decades. When somebody rips you off, you can get pretty angry. This reflects something very emotional. It's usually something personal. Could Trump be yearning for the blissful times of his boyhood? When Trump was a boy in the 50s, 30% of the US economy was manufacturing. Now it's dwindled to less than 10%. I'd also like to go back to those carefree years when my parents were forcing me to eat those peas. But it's gone, and it ain't coming back. And could the Ukraine war have a similar root cause? Is Putin trying to recreate his childhood when the Soviet Union was so much larger and more dominant than Russia is today? What is it with guys in their 70s wanting to return to the paradise of their childhood? Many folks, as they get older, do become a bit more fearful. Maybe that's why they subconsciously crave for the carefree bliss of early life. They do say everything comes full circle, right? Now let's look at Trump's chart for this. An acceptable one might be goal, put more money in Americans' pockets. Strategy, reduce inflation, increase wages, lower trade barriers. And execution, lower all tariffs, among many other tactics. Subconsciously, if Trump's goal is to stubbornly recreate the America of his boyhood, that's a very different goal than starting out with helping the American people of today. His 10% minimum tariff price hike for imports serves the second goal, but maybe not the first one. As Reagan once said, if you were to hike US tariffs, you'd be increasing prices for Americans and reducing the incentive for US companies to innovate because they'd be protected by big government. Can America really be a manufacturing powerhouse like it was 70 years ago? Would an iPhone be affordable if it were manufactured today in New Jersey? If you want to avoid chaos and confusion for any plan or project, Start with a super clear goal that captures exactly what you're trying to do. As logical as all of this sounds, in everyday life, even when planning big moves in life, we often forget to make useful distinctions between goals, strategies, and execution. That could lead to catastrophe. But want to avoid catastrophe? Then you might want to buy the self-help book of Mr. Social Media. Now don't mind me, I'm just going to multitask while this ad plays. Hey, Mr. Social Media here. Are you trying to make money with your social media content, but it's going too slow? Tired of the so-called experts that promise unrealistic results in a short period of time, when it's really just an excuse for you to buy their pricey book? Well, then you'll want to buy my book. I talk about the time when I wrote one blog post and gained 1,500 subscribers in just 10 minutes. Or the time when I used AI to generate 100 simultaneous newsletters and reached 1 million new viewers in just 1 hour. Or the time when I somehow created a video while I was sleepwalking in the hospital with double pneumonia and gained 12 million followers by the next morning. Buy my book, The Secrets of Mr. Social Media, and you can pre-order my new book due out soon. How I gained subscribers during a prolonged electricity blackout. Anywhere books are sold. But now that we have a good grounding in goal versus strategy versus execution, how can this relate to politics and which policies, politicians, and parties we might decide to support? With such a lengthy setup as we just did, this part should be fairly quick. So what would our chart look like for the two political persuasions, left and right? For the right, the goal might be to improve living standards, the strategy drive economic growth, and the execution could be lower taxes and deregulate. Presumably this would lead to growth for jobs and wages. A critique though could be, shouldn't we define improve living standards with specifics? Which metrics are you talking about? For the left, the goal could be reduce income inequality. The strategy could be heavily tax the wealthy. And the execution, increase the top tax rate back to 90% as it was in the 1960s. Presumably, income inequality could make poor people richer by divvying up the existing assets of richer people. But if your goal is equality for the sake of equality, as you stated in our sheet, couldn't that in the long run result in everyone being equally poor? But you would have equality if that's your starting point goal. It just may not be the kind of equality you were looking for, unless you clearly state it that way. Now let's hear from today's debaters. Today's topic is goal setting. Our mock debaters will be fake Elon Musk and fake Bill Gates. We have asked fake Bill to argue in favor of goal setting and fake Elon to argue against goal setting. So let's look at today's tale of the tape. Fake Elon was born in Pretoria in the Republic of South Africa. He's a businessman, best known for being the CEO of Tesla. Fake Bill is from Seattle, also a businessman, and known mostly as one of the founders of Microsoft. And we begin today with fake Bill Gates. Fake Bill, are you there?
Thank you, Chancellor. As you may know, when I was running Microsoft board meetings, I was known for my blunt rejection of other people's stupid ideas. Well, I'm gonna pull a Bill Gates right now. That's the dumbest topic I've ever heard. Of course, goal setting's important. You think those countless hours of your life that you wasted troubleshooting bugs in Microsoft Windows were just an accident? Those bugs were carefully planned. That time you spent hours staring at my blue screen of death and had to miss your nephew's circumcision, that was awesome goal setting on our part. And that's all I gotta say. And by the way, Chancellor, when you get Elon on the phone, tell him I've spent millions trying to save the Earth by limiting world population. And, well, Elon, you're not helping. You need a hobby, buddy. Try pickleball.
Thank you, fake Bill Gates. And speaking of fake Elon Musk, fake Elon, are you there?
Yes, personally answer, Bill, although it'll be a challenge to be a good parent to all 14 of my children. I've come up with one of my great innovations. It's called Uber Parents. It's a new service that allows anyone to parent anyone else's kids for a short time and a coupon good for one SpaceX trip. In fact, I wanted to tell my mother that as a result of that innovation, I plan to have 10 more children but I mistakenly dialed a Wall Street analyst group. They thought I was announcing 10 more new companies I was going to run. I said, no, just 10 more kids, nothing too serious. But you're running short on time, so I'll just say this on your topic. Don't spend too much time on goal setting. Just take action, take risks. For example, at Tesla, we released our first self-driving car in a heavily populated area without any testing at all. I figure, what could possibly go wrong? It's LA. Cars can't move much anyway because of all the traffic. And using AI, we gave the self-driving car the same exact personality profile based on some of the most careful, neurotic, and non-drinking folks that I know in Hollywood.
And?
As of right now, the self-driving car is seeing a shrink 3 times a week and refuses to drive at all. It was a total failure.
Thank you, fake Elon. Okay, so who argued more effectively, fake Bill or fake Elon? Tell us in the comments. So to recap for today, for any major personal or professional project, write down the goal, the strategy, and the strategy execution. Rewatch the part of this video that relates to politics. Does your political party conform to your values at this stage of your life? And be wary of those get-rich-quick schemes.
There was one guy who tried my program. Instead of getting 1,000 followers in 5 minutes, he spent $5,000 over 7 months and only got 2 subscribers. 2 subscribers, and one of them was me. What a loser. Hey, you're not still recording this, are you? Well, as long as I'm being authentic here, what I'm really thinking about right now is my goal in life. What's the purpose of life? It's actually what we're going to explore in the next episode.